All right, so let's then maybe finalize our conversation by you giving an advice. I think that would be wonderful, because as a neuroscientist, right, someone who researches the fundamental aspects of touch, can you suggest something to the engineers or so-called hapticians, right, who design mediated touch or haptic sensations? Is there anything that we should look at, right? Something that maybe overlooked, or maybe some underestimated paths for the mediated touch, or maybe some studies that you should look at those studies, or look at these offers, or look at something else, like anything that you think of that you could suggest the practitioners who design the mediated touch technologies?
Yeah, well, I mean, first things first.
Because we are lost sometimes, you know, it's not very structured field yet.
Yeah, well, if I was going to recommend one paper, it's a paper that it's currently a preprint, so it's currently on one of the archive websites, but it's by Julian Packheiser, and it's a meta-analysis and a systematic review looking at the different touch interventions, but it looks at both human to human, but also digital and mediated touch interventions. And it's looking at the physical and mental health outcomes. And it's actually one of the conclusions, as I recall in that, is that, you know, interventions with objects or robots and things like this can have similar physical but lower mental health benefits than human interactions. And it outlines some considerations for thinking about how it might want to do research on that in the future. So I think that one, for me, is
can you repeat the name, please, again? And then I'll definitely ask you maybe to send me a link on
yeah, sure.
We can post it also on the website. But for those who don't check the website, maybe the name just of the author at least.
Yeah, so it's Julian Packheiser.
Okay.
Based at the Netherlands Institute of Neuroscience, Netherlands Institute for Neuroscience, I think, which is in Amsterdam. I mean, Julian's work in general is just excellent. He does some fantastic work. This review is really good because it summarizes the whole field, which is amazing, useful for everybody. But actually his own research that's been done on things like hugging and other areas like this is really good, strong empirical work. So I recommend Julian's work across the board. I think definitely look out for work there. So that was one paper. What was the rest of the question?
That was very specific. Maybe any other directions? I don't know. Maybe like you guys look more into the synesthesia, you can learn a lot, or like look into this direction, we need more research there, or anything else that you feel like you could suggest to practitioners.
Yeah, I think the thing for me is, we've spoke slightly about this already, right? About the idea that I think a lot of the work that we see come out focuses on the senses in isolation. And actually, I think looking at this idea of multisensory interaction and looking at the work, for instance, how, I don't know, things like smell can impact our responses to touch, and looking at all these kind of sensory dynamics that come together, I think is particularly important. Charles Spencer's work, there's a really good example of a researcher who does a lot of cross-modal work and actually has done some really interesting things about tactile illusions that come from different cross-modal interactions. And I think if we really want to start using, you know, I suppose, haptic technology to reflect touch, something similar to touch in the real world, we need to become very aware of these cross-modal links, you know. And so I think that's one area. And the other area being, as I say, being someone who really is more from a social neuroscience background and just that social relationships, I would say just keep that work going. That's looking at how touch and digital and mediated touch can be useful in that scenario of things like loneliness, relationship satisfaction, that side of things, because that idea of touch as a comforting source, as a way for social support, it's such an important, powerful way to impact someone's health and well-being, that I think the more we can get options for that, the better, really.
Thank you. It's kind of a very dear statement to my heart, because, you know, as I research in this direction, also social kind of touch, I'm very happy to hear that, you know, we need that and there is a potential. Well, thank you so much. I think we stayed longer than expected, but I'm very happy you kind of engaged with me with all these questions. And really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Yeah, no, pleasure. Been lovely talking. Thank you so much too.